Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. And check out that eye, that's exactly what we want to see. Woo, look at that panel, baby. And that, as they say, is that. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the 10,000 Ink Stains, a memoir by Jeff Lemire. So it is his memoir we're going to be looking at from Dark Horse Comics. And welcome back, everybody. Before going any further, a big thank you to Dark Horse Comics for sending us a copy of this hardcover. And this hardcover is available everywhere. It came out in mid-July. Now, before I look at the spine or the back, I do want to state that the size of this book, the dimensions are that of a hardcover art book by Dark Horse Comics. So just to kind of give you a comparison, this is what the size of it is, how much taller and longer it is compared to a deluxe edition hardcover, which are as tall as, of course, Omnis. Not as thick, though, but to kind of give you an idea. They do fit in K-Laxes and Billies, but they are just wider than deluxe editions or Omnis. So let's take a closer look at this. 10,000 Ink Stains, a memoir. And it's Jeff Lemire's memoir at that. We have characters here from Sweet Tooth, Underwater Welder. Man, that was a good catch. I'm getting so good at that. Trillium, Essex County. Jeff Lemire, 10,000 Ink Stains, a memoir. Dark Horse Comics right there. And Dark Horse proudly presents. And this is a collection showcasing the life and work of Jeff Lemire. So he's been around for a while. Plus, this has his very first comic that he self-published, that he printed out himself. It's collected all the way in the back. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what is inside of this hardcover. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. I love the end sheets, very similar to what he's got back here. Just the different characters from his comics, whether independent or some of them may look familiar to you. 10,000 Ink Stains, a memoir, Jeff Lemire. And again, characters from his comics right here, like Essex County and Sweet Tooth and Trillium. And then your table of contents, where you're going to find each of these particular chapters and your introduction. And of course, the introduction telling you a little bit about Jeff Lemire and why he chose the name 10,000 Ink Stains. And this introduction is really honest, talking about, you know, if you're a fan of things like Black Hammer or Gideon Falls or his X-Men or Animal Man. He doesn't put as much of that stuff in here because he worked with other people on those books, other artists. So this is mainly his stuff that he was doing on his own, the artwork and the writing. So that is something to keep in mind if you're expecting things like the Extraordinary X-Men or a lot of Black Hammer or things he wrote like Animal Man or Green Arrow, just in case. But it does break it down by year and just how long it took him to break into comics and how he printed this book called Ashtray. And he just the heartache that went into creating comics. And eventually, how the right person came along and found his book, and how he made friends with people in the industry and didn't stop. And of course, he talks about the different jobs that he had while he was drawing. And it's a really amazing book. I love reading stuff like this about the creators, the people that make these wonderful stories that I love so much. And it just kind of gives me a better understanding as to perhaps where they come up with some of the stories, and that's what he does here. All 192 pages of this, to me, feels like a behind the scenes of like, oh, that's where that character in Essex County came from. Because no matter what I read from Jeff Lemire, I know at some point I'm going to be crying. And he just knows to pull at my heartstrings in the right way. And I know that no matter what, I think this is the DC book, the Nobody book. Or no, the one that he wanted to print over at Vertigo. What I was going to say is that no matter what I end up reading by him, whether it's Black Hammer, and yes, Black Hammer has ripped my heart out, or of course books like Trillium, or even Fish Flies, like things like that, I just know kind of something to expect that I will be crying. So there is a little bit about talking about DC Comics here. Not a lot, of course, of his artwork, because he didn't do a lot of internal artwork. Like, here's a piece from The Adventures of Superman #2. But, and this is the Animal Man piece. But then again, you know, he was the writer on Green Arrow with Andre Sorrentino, who worked with him in Old Man Logan, and worked, there's a Trillium story right here, worked with him on, of course, Gideon Falls. They've been working together for a long time. And it breaks it down by different eras of his life. This is when he was writing Old Man Logan, and also Hawkeye. Actually, I think Hawkeye was his very first gig at Marvel, taking over after Matt Fraction's run. And then Moon Knight, which to me just completely... I think Moon Knight was the first time... I had seen Jeff Lemire's work, and I thought, this guy's been around for a while, right? He does a lot of independent stuff, too. I really liked his Animal Man, but I think it was the Moon Knight that put him on my radar. That was like, wow, that was a really cool take on Moon Knight. This is a story of Roughneck. So it does do it in like a chronological order when he was working on the books. And when he was kind of working on his own stories, you'll see in here, like, the beginning of Black Hammer all the way back here in the early aughts, but not knowing exactly how to flesh it out. And then by the time we get to 2014, which is part of the chapter 14, is when we get the story of Black Hammer and who these characters are. This is Royal City right here. Man, do I love his books. You know, it's kind of become a thing that every year, this is the Fish Flies, I expect a new Jeff Lemire book to be out. Last year, oh no, actually this year it was Fish Flies. That's when this came out. And then we got this memoir. But I don't know, it's just like, I expect a Jeff Lemire book to come out every year. I don't know why. Maybe because he's always pumping out material. I had no idea about this Essex County TV show until I did my best standalone graphic novels. I think it was last year or the year before that. Somebody told me about this. I had no idea that there was a TV show. That's cool. I love Essex County. And then other works right here that he's working on, and 25 years later, and reflecting on his past. And then, of course, the acknowledgments, some of the people that he's worked with over the years, and the bibliography, when he started and what books came out. So you went from Ashtray in 2003. Essex County, I think, is what brought a lot of attention to people. And then, of course, by the time he was working at DC Comics, oh my gosh, I forgot about Frankenstein, Agent of Shade. Book is so good. And for the first time, you get the complete Ashtray #1 here. So he self-published his first mini-comic, and it is collected here. And it's cool because what Dark Horse did was everything here so far is printed in this thick, glossy paper stock. And back here, this is actually thick, matte paper stock that they're using for the comic itself. It does have dialogue, by the way. So if you've never had a chance to read it, it is collected here for the first time. Outside of course, when he self-published it. 192 pages. Let's look at the binding. It is sewn binding, and again, printed in thick, glossy paper stock, and then for the comic itself, matte paper stock. And the book has no dust jacket. It's just the art on board. But that's it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this hardcover, don't forget to check out our sponsor, BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $250 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
And that was the content and page count and build of this hardcover. In the comments down below, let me know if you're a huge fan of Jeff Lemire, and honestly, what your favorite Jeff Lemire comic is, what your favorite work that he's done, whether it's for the big two or his own independent stuff. And if you ended up picking this up, or you weren't even aware of it. If you have any more questions, leave them down below. Smash that like button on the way out. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.